Rooster Luke, The Adventures of Ronnie, Rudy, and Robert. It was a beautiful October filled with cool nights and warm days. The leaves were changing and garden work was finished. The routine of emptying coal buckets filled with cinders and filling these same coal buckets with coal had started. We had already started cutting wood logs and filling up the kindling box. The baseball World Series was over and football was just starting. Mama said to go out and gather eggs from the hen house. We had about 20 hens, and it was our job to gather up the eggs each day. As we gathered the eggs, we noticed the old rooster was gone. We had a large chicken lot with a fence going around the sides as well as the top. Mama fed the hens, and we would go into the chicken coop and gather the eggs. Rudy asked Mama, "What happened to the old rooster?" And she said, "Well, it was just time to get a new rooster." She said Papa decided he needed another rooster to stay in the hen house. She said he gave the old rooster away, but we thought the old rooster was killed, plucked, and eaten. Old Man Johnson pulled in across the road with a big white rooster in a wire cage. Papa looked at the rooster and said, "I guess this one will do." Old Man Johnson just set him loose in the hen house, but instead of going over to the hens, he just stopped and looked at Rudy and Ronnie. Then this huge rooster turned and chased the hens around. Ronnie looked at Rudy and Rudy looked at Ronnie, and at this moment we both knew gathering these eggs were going to be much more difficult. The crazy rooster had spurs about 2 inches long. Papa said, "I think I'll call him Rooster Luke." Later that day, we decided to play badminton. We put the poles in the ground, and after we started the net, we tied the poles to 2 stakes in the ground for strength. We then took white thread used by Mama's sewing machine to make a large square for the boundaries. Patty said, "I can't believe you boys put this net so close to the hand-dug well." Ronnie said, "Well, we just need to be careful not to hit the birdie in the well." Patty said, "Robert is on my side and will beat you 2 every game." Ronnie served, and the first game was close, but Patty was just too big and they beat us. Patty laughed and said, "You're not having hallucinations of reality, boys. We're just that victorious." Robert asked, "What's a hallucination?" Rudy replied, "Hallucination means seeing something that does not exist." Patty said, "That's right, Robert." She added, "Rudy and Ronnie are just dreaming if they think they'll ever beat us. It just won't exist." Ronnie was so mad he hit the birdie as high as he could in the air. The wind blew the birdie over our heads and straight into the hand-dug well. Patty said, "I'm going inside the house, and when I come back out, that birdie better be out of that well." Rudy said, "Way to go, Ronnie." Ronnie said, "We just need to tie a rope around Robert and lower him down in the well to get it." Robert said, "No way am I going to be lowered down in that well." Robert said, "We don't have to lower him. We can throw him down the well." Robert was afraid and turned to run when Rudy said, "No, Ronnie, we'll lower you down in the well since you were the one who hit the birdie in the well to start with." Ronnie acquiesced and said, "Okay, but you better lower me slowly, and when I'm ready, pull me back up fast." Rudy said, "Sure, we can do that." Rudy took the bucket off the end of the rope and tied the rope around Ronnie's chest. Robert went inside and found a flashlight. After Ronnie taped the flashlight to his arms so he could use both hands, he climbed to the top of the well box. We started lowering him down the well slowly. The water was over 30 feet straight down, but Ronnie was only about 15 feet down the well when he yelled for us to stop. Rudy tied off the rope to the post next to the well and looked down the well. Rudy could not see Ronnie, so he said, "Ronnie, are you there? Can you hear me?" Ronnie said he could, so Rudy asked, "Where are you?" Ronnie said, "There's an underground room down here." Ronnie stuck his head out and shined the flashlight on himself so they could see him. Rudy asked, "How big is the room?" Ronnie answered, "It must be about 10 feet long and 10 feet wide and about 6 feet high. The sides are lined with boards and the roof is held up with timbers. There's a rope ladder down here, and I'll tie it to the rope to let you down with so you can pull it up." "So you let me down with you so you can pull it up." Ronnie tied the rope around the rope ladder and we pulled it to the top of the well. The rope ladder had 2 metal hooks on it and Rudy put the hooks over the well box. Robert said, "I'm not going to go down there." Rudy said, "Okay." We climbed over the well box and down the rope ladder. When Rudy was about 15 feet down, he saw a 4-foot opening on one side of the wall. Ronnie held the flashlight so Rudy could climb into the room. Once inside, Rudy grabbed hold of a fur pelt that was hanging on the back wall. Ronnie said, "What kind of fur is that?" Rudy said as he looked it over, "I think it's a beaver hide." Then he noticed writing on the other side of the room. He walked over to it. Someone had carved "Shadow Warrior was here June 1799. Rudy exclaimed, "Wow, this was our ancestor, Issac Little." Ronnie mused, "I wonder why he built this room down here." Rudy shook his head and said, "I don't know." Ronnie said, "I have the birdie in my pocket because it landed in this room." Rudy said, "Okay, then let me climb up and you can put this rope ladder back." Rudy climbed out and unhooked the ladder. Ronnie said, "I am tied off now, so pull me back up." After Ronnie was out of the well, we sat and decided not to tell Papa what we had found because this might get us into trouble. Patty walked up to us and asked, "Did you find the birdie?" We told her we had. Patty said, "It's a good thing you did. Now put the badminton set away because I am tired of winning." We just smiled as we walked past her. That evening after supper, Papa asked who won the badminton game and Patty just smiled. Robert said Patty and I did. Patty said, "I always win." Papa commented, "Boys, always bear in mind that your own resolution to succeed is more important than any other thing." Robert asked, "What does resolution mean?" Rudy said, "It means to set a goal to do something and never stop until you succeed." Ronnie asked, "How are we going to get past that mean-looking Rooster Luke tomorrow so we can gather the eggs?" Papa responded, "When you're trying to motivate yourself, appreciate the fact that you've even thinking about making a change, and as you move forward, allow yourself to be good enough. Nothing can stop you boys when you put your mind to doing it, not even a rooster named Luke." We gave Papa a hug and said we loved him, and Papa said, "I love you children also. Now get ready for bed." That night Ronnie said, "Shadow Warrior must have been a real hard worker and very smart person. The room built down in that well was the perfect hiding place from everything." Robert said, "We should put Luke in that well room." Rudy agreed but thought about the game they had played that day. "Don't worry, Ronnie. We'll beat them the next time we play badminton." This was a good day.